Well, welcome to Dominico Field. Thomas West here alongside Zach Benoit. It's the Maple Leafs and Brantford Red Sox here on a rather cloudy, pretty chilly, and windy afternoon here at Dominico Field. The wind is ripping from right to left in the outfield. Should be interesting for the outfielders. Maybe a bit of advantage for those lefties in the lineup, or those righties in the lineup today.
Yeah, and we've seen it multiple times throughout where the wind plays factor here at Christie Pitts, and wouldn't be surprised to see it happen once again. We saw a couple games ago, the wind was just blowing straight out to center field and right field, and those hitters were having a field day. But it should be kind of a similar story here, but it should be another good game.
Different tale for these two teams when you look at their last game. Starting with the Brantford Red Sox, obviously this wasn't their best performance against the Kitchener Panthers. In a 20-5 loss in that game, a lot of those came early on. Pedro de los Santos just couldn't find his way out of the second inning. But if there was a bright spot in that game for the Brantford Red Sox, it was the pitching performance from Carter Bettis. And without what he did, 4 1/3 without giving up a run and eating innings. I remember I was listening to the broadcast last night, and they were saying someone has to eat this. Well, Carter Bettis did, and he didn't just eat it. He performed really well. Without that performance and saving a little bit of the bullpen, I don't know if the Brantford Red Sox have much shot today.
Yeah, and all credit to Carter Bettis as well for what he did. You see on the screen, 4 1/3, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts and 1 walk. He really limited damage in what could have been a really, really rough game for Brantford. And coming into today, you look at it, he's saved a lot of bullpen arms for today. The game today could have been a lot difficult for Brantford, but things change now that you've gotten that outing. More pitchers are rested. You're able to kind of maybe put up a little bit more of a fight against this Toronto Maple Leafs team. Yeah,
and I guess I'm kind of missing the most important thing as well, is that Brantford's on a 3-3, 3 games in 3 days, and if any time you don't want to give up 20 runs and go through a lot of bullpen arms, it's right in the middle of a 3-3. So this is the back end of that. Then they'll get a little bit of rest. For the Maple Leafs, they've had a day off, but they're riding some momentum right now. After a bit of a slow start to this season, they were 1-3 to start the year. Now they've leveled their record at 3-3, and this was a great game against London. So Zach, you remember last time the London Majors were here at Christie Pitts? Didn't go the way the Toronto Maple Leafs wanted, but it was a barn burner, 16-15 the final. So the Maple Leafs had a chance to get a little bit of revenge, and I think they're probably happy with some of the performances that they saw in that game as well.
Oh, extremely happy, and really you see the numbers there. Well, Hennis Alvarado had a fantastic day, 5 innings pitched, and only 6 hits allowed. He really limited damage. I think the biggest thing for the pitching side was Sebastian Rodriguez, and really shut the door. He's been the guy that the Leafs have been going to a lot early on in the season. He's had a little bit of rough outings, but it was nice to see him finally have a really solid outing, 2 2/3, no runs allowed, only 3 hits. But the hitting has been sensational. Ryan Dos Santos at the top of the order has really just been a staple of a name. Marcus Connect is starting to pick things up, but the big name on that board is John Javier and what he's been able to do. Another big day for him, 2 RBIs, 3 for 5 day.
Yeah, I'd love to see what he's doing. I mean, he's such a pleasant surprise, I think, for the Maple Leafs. You never know what you're getting when you get such a young guy in the lineup. We'll get to him in a moment, but first I just want to talk about a new face in the lineup for the Maple Leafs today. That's Drew Howard. So he's going to start this game today for the Maple Leafs. I know Rob Butler coached him growing up as well, so he had a lot of nice words to say about him. This is what he did last year in the NCAA, and he can really get that fastball up in the 90-mile-an-hour range as well.
Yeah, he has really good mechanics, and he, like you said, he can get that fastball up there to touch 90. You can see where he's pitched. He pitched with AAA College in 2023. That is a very, very good junior college program in NCJAA. It always confuses me, the numbers and letters there, but yeah. He's a very good pitcher, and you see 12 games played, 4 wins, 43 innings. The ERA is a little bit inflated, but he has a lot of just pop out of his hand with that fastball.
Yeah, so a couple years ago, I think he's been mostly pitching out of the bullpen in short outings, but last season made 12 appearances with the Young Harris Mountain Lions in the NCAA Division II. He made 9 starts of those 12 games, so he's stretched out a little bit, and the Maple Leafs are hoping that they can get some innings from him today out of the starter's role. Before the game, I caught up with Rob Butler to chat about Drew Howard. Now by Rob Butler from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Rob, I know exciting new face is going to be on the mound for the Leafs today, Drew Howard. What do you know about him, and what are you looking forward to about Drew Howard?
Well, I've known Drew since he was 10 years old. Played in my program a long time ago, and I believe he's still one of those kids that will carry us to great things. I mean, we won tournaments with this guy. We basically jumped on his back, and he's a gamer, someone who really grinds it out and is not afraid to, attack the strike zone and, go be aggressive against anybody. So he's not a big guy, but he's got a big heart, and I think that's what this team is kind of building upon, is getting lots of guys like that on our roster, and being a team that's really tough to play against, and having guys like him is going to make us really competitive and stronger down the stretch and for the playoffs. So I'm really excited to have Drew with us.
Speaking of young guys, I know John Javier's been a real bright spot in the lineup. He's hitting second again today. I know he had a big hit in London as well. What can you say about what he's brought to the Leafs this year?
Oh, he's so scrappy and just fun to watch, and he brings tons of energy. Another guy who's kind of undersized but plays with a huge heart. He's come up with lots of big hits. I mean, even with his catching, he's been fantastic. He knows how to call a game, and he's strong with his receiving and throwing guys out. So he's got a great arm, which is intimidating for guys who want to try to steal bases on us. So we have a great tandem with catching with Justin and him. And Justin's kind of the old leader, pro guy, and he's got a protege coming up with him. So I mean, he's been a huge addition. It kind of happened by accident with Justin getting hurt there for a little bit. So it's been a nice find, a nice grab for us to make our team. I mean, it's showing where we're going to be above 500 here soon, and be the team that's really tough to beat in the playoffs.
All right, thanks, Rob.
Oh.
So we heard Rob Butler talk about John Javier there and just the impact that he's had in the lineup for the Maple Leafs, leading the Inter-County Baseball League in batting average, hitting .440. But, I just want to talk about the versatility that he's had. We've seen him, Zach, be the catcher. We've seen him play third base, and today he's going to be playing center field.
Yeah, and really, managers and coaches, they love when a player has that type of versatility, where you're able to just kind of inject them into any part of the lineup and they can help produce and play really just sound defense. And that's kind of what John Javier has been doing. But I think really what Rob Butler and company want is just to get him in the lineup for his bat. Like you mentioned, leading the IBL in average .440, but he just has such a good progression at the plate. He's an impact player, and it'll be interesting to see him make his IBL debut in center field today.
Yeah, can't wait to see what he brings to the lineup. Drew Howard as well is going to be exciting. Maybe we should touch on as well, just before we get started, it's always a milestone to watch with Jordan Castaldo because he's up there on all the leaderboards everywhere, but he's sitting on 99 career home runs. One more and he's at 100. We saw him break the RBI mark, fourth all-time in RBIs a couple games ago. One more home run would be a big one for Jordan Castaldo.
Yeah, and Jordan Castaldo, a man that always knows where he is with his milestones. He's a player that keeps track of it. Last year, he knew about his on-base streak that he had. We would ask him about that and say, did you know about that? It's been like 80-plus games, and he just says, yeah, I know. He always knows when he has milestones coming up, so I'm sure it's in the back of his mind that he has another big one.
Yeah, and I think he will get that out of the way. It's just a matter of when, and the attention now on Drew Howard starting this game for the Maple Leafs. He's a fireballer, and we're going to get a chance to see what he brings to the table here for Toronto. Paulos leading things off for the Brantford Red Sox. First pitch pounded in there for strike one.
And really what you're going to notice from Drew Howard is the ball really pops out of his hand with that fastball. A really good windup and delivery.
Count 1-1 now on Paulos. A swing and a miss, strike two. Brantford Red Sox coming off a couple losses, lost their last game 20-5. So one of the great things about baseball is that you're back the next day and you get to try it again. Strike three called over the outside corner. One batter, one strikeout for Drew Howard.
And really, Drew Howard, you can see early, he's establishing the outside of the zone, and he's working quickly, really attacking the Brampton hitters.
So that brings Christian Ortega to the plate. Played for Birmingham Bloomfield in the United Shore League. Also played some NCAA baseball.
It's a good first pitch right there by Howard, a slider on the outside.
Tried to go back to it again, but missed outside. Here's the 1-1. And this one's lined right back up the middle. There's John Javier, who's playing center field today for the Maple Leafs. Fields it on a bounce, and the Brantford Red Sox have their first hit of the day.
Looked like a fastball in the inner half. He tried to sneak by Ortega, but Ortega just quietly sits on it, drives it right back where it came from.
First baseman number 7, Tim Hulk.
Well, it's going to bring Tim Hulk to the plate. Was all over social media on right at the beginning of the season. He was the first guy to touch up Fernando Rodney in that back and forth game with the Hamilton Cardinals. There's the 0-1. And that one goes to the backstop. An extra 90 feet and a runner in scoring position for the Brantford Red Sox on the base path.
And again, it looks like Howard tried to go back to the off speed on the outer half, and Brant, it kind of just had too much of that diagonal break. When you have a slider that moves that much, you got to start on the batter's inner hip and just have it cut right back into the zone.
1-1. Hit in the air. This one's deep to left field, and that one is way out of here. Second home run of the season for Tim Hulk, and it's 2-0 Brantford.
Well, you talked about Tim Hulk and how well he is having a year so far, and wastes no time right there. A fastball again by Howard, and Hulk just demolishes it over that left field wall.
Well, Tim Hulk was playing in the NAIA before this in the West Coast League. And now bringing his talents here to the Intercounty Baseball League, and off to a great start. Came into today hitting .333, and he's hitting those home runs off of big names in the IBL as well.
Just a really good compact swing that he has, and he just, again, put it on display right there. The barrel goes through the zone very quickly.
Cassidy Watt comes to the plate now for Brantford, playing his 6th game of the season. Watt checks his swing, and that pitch misses outside. Count now 1-1. Yesterday, Watt had a hit in 3 at-bats against Kitchener. And takes a big swing at that one and fouls it straight back. Ball jumps back out to Spencer Ross, who's playing third base today for the Maple Leafs. Rando Moreno at short, Dan Mara at second, and Justin Mara is the first baseman. Justin Mara's been doing that a little bit for the Maple Leafs this season. This one's hit on the ground to third. Spencer Ross fields it on a high hop, throws over to first base for out number 2. In the outfield, Ryan Dos Santos in left, John Javier in center, and then Marcus Connect in right.
Right field number 27, Matt Torson.
Maple Leafs are also getting to see their first look of Matt Brandt, who's doing the catching today. So the Leafs technically have 3 catchers in the lineup. They've got Justin Mara at first, Brandt behind the plate, and then the guy who's caught a couple games from them as well, John Javier. He's in center. That pitch just misses outside there to Matt Torreson.
And again, that goes back to coaches and managers loving that versatility in players where you're able to play multiple positions.
Torreson swings through that pitch from Howard. Hitting .154 on the season, but he's just had the 13 at-bats, Matt Torreson. And he hits this one right back up the middle. That's into center field for a base hit. So the 3rd hit of the year for Matt Torreson, and the Red Sox have another runner on base.
And again, it's just a pitch that's just sent right back up the middle, and it looked like that one was on a slider where he tried to keep it on the inner half. He just gets the hands in enough as Torreson.
Second baseman number 29, Lucas Bateman.
Howard whips one over to first, and diving back in is Torreson. This is Lucas Bateman who's at the plate now. Bateman foul tips that one into the glove.
He's had a great start to his year. 20 at-bats, 7 hits, sitting at a .350 right now. 4 RBIs for the Brantford Red Sox.
Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss once again. Elevating that time is Howard with the fastball. 2 at-bats for Bateman yesterday against Kitchener. Went 0 for 2 but scored a run on a walk. Was 1 for 4 the day before against Welland. And as we mentioned, the back end of a 3-3 for the Brantford Red Sox, a team that's 1-6 on the year. As Bateman takes strike 3 called over the outside corner, but they do get a couple runs. That guy, Tim Holt, coming up again with the power, hammering one out to left field, and it's 2-0 Brantford after half an inning. Well, we just saw Tim Holk launch that home run, and he's been really good. Came into this game hitting .333. He's played in every game for the Brantford Red Sox, and that first home run against Fernando Rodney, that was a cool moment to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you know, as a kid, you grew up dreaming, you see all these players in the majors, and you dream, oh, I want to hit one off of them. And how cool of a moment that was that for Tim Holk to see Fernando Rodney and take him deep in the fashion that they did. Again, that was a back-and-forth game like you mentioned.
Yeah. Not like Tim Holk's a proven hitter. He was fantastic with Cumberland University. You saw they're hitting .344. And this is the starting pitcher, and he's a big guy. Nikolai Arbach, standing at 6'9", an imposing presence on the mound for Brantford.
He has a tough duty here going up against a Maple Leafs lineup that has been fairly hot in the last couple of games. You see him, he's a little bit of a sidewinder, that low release.
Yeah, he's a tall, lanky dude on the mound there for the Brantford Red Sox. That would not be fun to go up against. Ryan Dos Santos takes low and in.
And it's interesting to see because it looks like he almost comes down and submarines the ball. He has that sidewinder release. The best kind of comparison I could say is you think of the left-hander Tyler Anderson in the majors with how he releases the ball.
Yeah, usually you see tall guys like that. It's a 3-0 count now on Dos Santos. Tall guys like that kind of use their height and come over the top and come down on the ball. But, I mean, his arms are so long. That's just such a whippy action he's able to make as he delivers a strike over the outside corner to Ryan Dos Santos.
And what a start to the year it has been for Dos Santos. The average under 300, but it's been the on base that's kind of been the impressive thing with him. He just does not stop getting on base.
Thought he got on base there, but the umpire says that one clipped the outside corner for a strike. 3-2.
7 hits, 6 RBIs, 8 walks to 7 strikeouts.
The 3-2 pitch, outside ball 4. So Ryan Dos Santos continues to find his way on base. Yeah, there was a little bit of a discussion there. That ball ended up getting away from the catcher Watt, and then it was picked up in front of the Brantford dugout by one of the players. Technically, I think you could have gone to second base, so that ball's still live, but Dos Santos wasn't hustling to first base anyway.
He was getting off the elbow guard, putting on the sliding mitt. He was just getting prepared to run around the bases here.
All right, so this is your IBL average leader. John Javier playing center field today for the Maple Leafs. Had a huge hit Last time he was up in the game against the London Majors, a big RBI single in the 10th, and the Maple Leafs rode that momentum to the win to score 4 in the 10th inning and win the game against London in extras. The 0-1 swing and a miss.
You can see Javier, not that big of a guy, but he has a big-time swing, and he's put that on display already early in the season.
Yeah, this is 5'10" versus 6'9". Nearly a foot of difference between these battery mates as Javier smacks one down the right side and onto the hillside.
And again, you can see any ball that's going to be up in the air in right field, it's going to be pushing towards left. We touched on it a little bit during the pregame show, but that wind, it's blowing right to left right now. So all these right-handed batters, they can get a hold of a baseball and pull it to left field. They're sitting pretty.
The 0-2, Javier lines it into the outfield, and a dive, and a catch. Oh, man. What a play by Matt Torreson as he makes the catch on a sinking line drive right in front of him.
Yeah, Torreson, it looked like off the bat he wasn't sure how to read it, but that looked like the wind coming in play again. That ball was lined out there to right field, and the wind just kind of killed it, pushing it to the I guess the right side of Torreson a little bit.
Yeah.
Caught him off guard, but he still makes the play.
Yeah, even John Javier's outs when he doesn't put a great swing on the ball are close plays. That was a close play at first base. Ryan Dos Santos might be a little shaken up as he dove back in there. Oh, that's not a good sign for the Leafs. Yeah, Dos Santos really, he was leaning a little bit. I think Dos Santos was going, and he dove back in, like head first. I don't know if he maybe knocked the wind out of himself there at first base.
Or if it was his hand. He might have jammed his hand as he slid back in.
Well, he has that sliding mitt on, but I'm not sure that was the hand that he used to grab the base. Looks like he's all right. Rando Moreno at the plate now for the Maple Leafs.
He's still getting a healthy lead over there at first. So.
Yeah, I thought for sure he was going to go after after that.
Very good speed. Very good speed out there in first base for number 8.
The 1-0. That one misses outside as well.
I'm sure I'll be hearing after the game what happened there at first.
Yeah.
I get the updates pretty frequently.
Well, Nikolai Arbach certainly isn't missing glove side. He's leaving a lot of stuff out to the arm side. That one was on the outer half as well, and Rando Moreno swings over the top.
It looks like he's trying to establish the outside half pretty early on here in this game, and this is something the hitters got to pick up, especially these lefty hitters, is that he's going to be staying away from you. Try to drive something. Use that wind that's pushing to left field to your advantage.
Here's the 2-1. Dos Santos goes. Throw from Watt high and into the outfield. Dos Santos will hold his ground at second base, but that's a stolen base for Ryan Dos Santos.
Speedster showing off the wheels once more.
Picked a good pitch to do it. It was a breaking ball. It was low. Rando Moreno, I think, was taking all the way because he saw that Dos Santos got a pretty good jump at first base. Maple Leafs have themselves in a pretty good position here in the bottom of the first. Runner in scoring position. Rando Moreno has been the RBI guy for the Leafs this season. Leads the team. He's got 8 on the year. The 3-1. This one's into the outfield for a base hit. Ryan Dos Santos getting the wave, and then Rob Butler puts up the stop sign promptly. He's going to have to hold his ground. Matt Torreson was not playing very deep in the outfield, so he was able to run in and cut that ball off quickly, and that may have saved Brantford a run.
Rando Moreno continues just to kind of be a pretty steady presence here for the Maple Leafs early on in the season. He's putting up good at-bats, and he's playing some pretty good defense at shortstop. And like you mentioned, Rob Butler, he had the wave going, sending Dos Santos home, but immediately saw Torreson pick it up cleanly, and he has a good arm. Just launched that back in, so heads-up play there by third base coach.
Talked to Jordan Castaldo before the game. He's at the plate now, and he said he's feeling really good at the plate. He's really happy with where he is. He says he feels comfortable. He feels like he's in a rhythm at the plate. And when you hear those things from Jordan Castaldo, the numbers are usually pretty good, as a balk is called on Nikolai Arbach. So that's going to move another runner to scoring position and score Ryan Dos Santos.
Yeah, immediately. That was called by the home plate umpire, the balk. And that's a tough one because the one-run score as the tying run moves up to score in position. And Rando Moreno doesn't have terrible speed. He can move out there. So anything in the outfield, he could possibly score here.
So 2-1 now. Maple Leafs gifted a run. It's the worst feeling as a pitcher when you get a balk called on you. First pitch to Jordan Castaldo in there for a strike. Just to get back to the point on Castaldo, he's feeling like he's in a good rhythm, and when that happens, Jordan Castaldo puts up big numbers, and that's just been the case this year, hitting .421 so far on the season.
Well, you look at it, he has 8 walks, 4 strikeouts, and he has hits in 4 out of the 5 games.
This one's grounded to second. Played a first in time, out number 2. That's Lucas Bateman playing out there at second base.
Moves Moreno up 90 feet as well, though, so that's a job well done. You move the runner up 90 feet away from home. Now you just look to another veteran in Justin Mara to try to get him around.
Infield for Brantford is Ortega at third, Schmarter at shortstop, Bateman at second, and Hulk playing first base. And then Black, Paulos, and Torreson are in the outfield for Brantford from left to right. Count 0-1, that pitch delivered to Cassidy Watt, who's doing the catching today. 0-1 to Justin Mara. Watt fakes a pick back to third base and sends Moreno diving back in.
Okay, for the first time today, looks like the sun is finally peeking through the cloudiness here in Toronto.
Yeah, it's not warm though. I was looking at the forecast, it's like 12 to 15 degrees at tops as Mara fouls it back. Everyone this weekend has been dealing with this cold, windy weather, but they're just happy it's not raining.
Because May brought a lot of showers.
Yeah, that's been a real problem for teams lately. Last Sunday game was supposed to be against the Hamilton Cardinals. They got here, we were ready to go, and then 1 o'clock hit and the field was a lake. This one's cued down the left field line by Justin Mara, and it will sneak out of play. I mean, you look at the Hamilton Cardinals, they've only played 4 games this year. And those come back to bite you. Hamilton, I was talking to some of their players after that rainout, and everyone on both sides were saying, let's get these games in now, because the last thing they want to do is have to play like 19 games in August, and that we know is really hard. The Maple Leafs had to deal with that last year.
Well, if you look at the Maple Leaf schedule right now, when it comes to June and July, it's already jam-packed.
Yeah.
And if those makeup games, it doesn't make it easier on the players.
2-2 now on Justin Mara. Auerbach trying to get out of this inning, and he misses inside. Nikolai Auerbach is approaching the 25 pitch mark now in this first. 3-2 on Justin Mara, and he takes low, ball 4. So the thought now, Zach, is the Maple Leafs, if they can work Auerbach for a lot of pitches here early on. Yes, they did get the great performance from Carter Bettis to kind of save the day in that 20-5 game where he went 4 1/3 innings. But they still did have to use a lot of pitchers. They're on the back end of a 3-3. They need some innings here from Nikolai Auerbach.
Yeah, there's a lot of tired arms on the side of Brantford, and really that's probably the main message and thought that's in the head of all these Maple Leafs hitters is work Auerbach as much as you possibly can, because they are very thin right there in the bullpen.
Here's another guy who's feeling good at the plate. It's Marcus Connect as he takes strike 1.
Yeah, I mentioned Marcus Connect, how his bat has heated up over the last couple of games.
3 for 5 in that game against London. And he lines one right to first base. Tim Hulk has to move about 2 steps to his left, and he makes the catch. And that'll do it for the Maple Leafs, although they do get 1 run home on a box. So both teams score in the first. To the top of the second we go. It's 2-1 Brantford Red Sox. 1-1. Jordan Castaldo hits this one in the air. High and deep to left field and gone! Jordan Castaldo moves into fourth all-time in IBL RBIs and ties the game at 12.
The IBL legend, Jordan Castaldo, comes up big once again. The Maple Leafs needed a big swing, and Castaldo answered the call. 12-12.
Well, Graham Tebbett's going to lead things off for the Brantford Red Sox, facing Drew Howard. I was told that Howard hasn't pitched in a couple of weeks, so maybe trying to shake off a little bit of rust here for the Maple Leafs. Gave up the 2-run home run to Tim Holk. But, I mean, Zach, other than that one pitch to Holk, he looked pretty good in that first inning.
Yeah, and, you know, there was a couple of pitches where he was missing with the off-speed, but he really answered that back to end off the inning.
That's a pretty good-looking pitch. When you cross a hitter up like that.
Yeah, when you tunnel your pitches, that makes it so hard for the hitter to see what's coming out of your hand. And so far, that's what Howard has done. Again, like you said, he just missed on that one pitch to Hulk.
He's ahead 1-2 now on Graham Tebbett. And that one misses low, 2-2. Brantford has 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup coming up. And this one's fisted towards center field and drops in front of John Javier. A bloop single for Graham Tebbett, and another runner reaches base for Brantford.
For the most part today, the contact outside of the home run and maybe one of the hits in the first inning hasn't really been hard off of Howard. It's just, you know, a couple bats just getting to the ball and poking it to the outfield. That one was probably the best case scenario.
So that's going to bring up Brody Black as the pitch is outside. Black's had 22 at-bats on the season, hitting 182 on the year. A walk and 9 strikeouts on the season as well. Here's the 1-0. That one misses just outside. Black fouls that ball off. Couple of strikeouts so far for Howard. Looked good in the first inning except for that 2-run home run to Tim Holk. Runner goes, great jump and no play to throw out Graham Tebbett. He was running and then the pitch was delivered about 2 seconds later, and not much that you can do there if you're Brant.
Yeah, and Howard really, it's a long delivery to home plate, and Tebbett, he noticed that a couple pitches early.
So this is big for Brantford. They have a chance to take a 2-run lead here. They've got a runner in scoring position, nobody out. And if Brantford could come away with a win here against Toronto, a team that is starting to heat up, they're on a 2-game win streak, and they had a day off. Brantford's played 2 games in 2 days in the last 2 days. That would be a really gutsy effort. This ball fouled off by Black. See how important this at-bat here by Brody Black ends up being when this is all said and done. He needs to get this runner over or maybe drive him in for Brantford. The 2-2. Check swing. No swing, says the home plate umpire. And they check down for the second base umpire. He says no swing as well, so that's a walk. Black heads down to first base, and that brings up Max Schmarter.
And again, if, you know, Howard, if you can just get that breaking ball working, it'd be a lot easier of a day so far for him. It's just he hasn't been able to find the consistency in the release point with that slider yet.
So So this is not how Howard would have liked this inning to start. A bloop single to center, a stolen base, a walk, and now the number 9 hitter Schmarter comes up the plate. Paulos, Ortega, and Hulk are looming on deck. Schmarter hits one on the ground, one hopper to Dan Mara. His only play is to first. He makes it, throwing it over to his brother Justin, and now there's 2 away.
And that bat died a hero. Advances the runners up, gets the broken bat out. There is Howard now. He has to look back to the top of the order, and he did get Palis looking last time. It was 3 straight pitches on the outside half.
Center fielder number 13, Ethan Paulos.
Yeah, if you're the Brantford Red Sox, that is an ideal situation to start this inning. 1 out, 2 runners in scoring position with your 7, 8, 9 hitters coming up, and now it's turned back to the top of the order to Ethan Paulos, who struck out in his first at-bat. That was the first IBL strikeout for Drew Howard. The 0-1 pickoff play back to Rando Moreno. Timing was a little bit off there for the Maple Leafs, wasn't it? Rando Moreno was heading back to second base, calling for the ball, and by the time Drew Howard had thrown, the runner was already alerted. Here's the 0-1. This one's lined to left. Dos Santos back near the wall, reaches up and makes the catch. That's going to bring in a run, but a good play by Ryan Dos Santos to limit the damage, and it's 3-1 Brantford.
Now you want to talk about the wind being a factor? It was right there. Dos Santos was tracking that ball back, and then you kind of see last second he realizes this is going to continue to carry, and he gets back there even more, makes the catch.
Yeah, he thought he had a read on the ball, then he checked that again, took a couple hard steps back, and was able to get there just in time. Probably about 5 feet in front of the wall out there and left. Christian Ortega up to the plate now, takes strike 1 from Howard. Ortega had a hit and scored his last time up.
He had a loud single right back up the middle.
Ortega takes way outside. Drew Howard looked like he might have slipped off the mound a little bit delivering that pitch. Count 1-1. Brantford still has a duck on the pond at third base. They'd love to drive him in. That's Brody Black.
I'm sure Howard would love to get out of this one and leave the big bat of Tim Hulk on deck here.
Here's the 2-1. Hit in the air, center field, pretty well. It's at the track wall and gone. Christian Ortega leaves the yard to dead center field, and it gives Brantford a 5-1 lead.
Ortega had loud contact his last time up, right back up the middle. This time he just elevates the ball, and that sails, like you said, dead center field. Brantford, they might have be playing the 3-3, but they look fresh.
That is the first IBL home run for Christian Ortega. And it brings up Tim Hulk, who hit a home run in his last at-bat. This time he pops it up on the infield. It's Dan Mara who moves over, then gives way to Rando Moreno, who comes in and makes the catch to retire the side. But the Brantford Red Sox have found a way to get to Drew Howard early in this game. A couple home runs. First it was Tim Hulk, and then Christian Ortega with the first in his IBL career. Oh, welcome back to Dominico Field. Taking a look at a quote from Spencer Ross a couple of games ago. I really like what he said here. This was after a game against Kitchener. He said, "It's a resilient group and everyone contributes. It's a lot of fun to be with these guys. And these are close games. There's no quit in this team." And that's a word that I've heard from not just Spencer Ross, but a couple players, is that there's no quit. And I think it kind of speaks to the fact that the Maple Leafs, they want to get going a little bit earlier this season than they did last year. And although their record's 3-3, I mean, it feels like they could be anywhere from 6-0 to less than 3-3. They played in a lot of tight games.
Yeah, and when you look at it, really, that's what they've been. They've been a very resilient group over these first 6 games.
Yeah.
We saw it, the London game. They went down big in that game. They battled back. They still came away losing it 16-15, but you battled back to almost win that game in the 9th inning.
Yeah, and I mean, right to the very end with 2 outs, Rando Moreno hits a big home run, gets them within 1, and then they just didn't quite have enough. And then, talk about more resilience, they come back and beat London in extras the very next time in their home park. So that's a good feeling, I think, for the Maple Leafs. This is Dan Mara, who's at the plate now. Arbach worked the count to 1-1, and now misses low, so 2-1. Dan Mara playing second base for the Maple Leafs today. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. Mara might have been looking for something else. Dan Mara hitting .263 on the season, 5 for 19. The 2-2, inside, 3-2. This is what the Maple Leafs want to do. They want to get into the Brantford bullpen. And another long at-bat here against Nikolai Arbach. The full count pitch, low, ball 4, and Dan Mara with a good take draws the walk.
And again, it's this Maple Leaf squad that continue to work walks, and they get on base. That's been the really big factor so far early in the year. They actually lead the IBL now with that walk in team walks. So they're getting on base. Now you just got to deal the damage. You got to score some runs.
You like this song from Spencer Ross?
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Do you love rock and roll?
Ross does.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty catchy. That's a good walk-up song. That'll work. It's hit right in the leg and heads down to first base. So 2-on now for the Maple Leafs.
And I really love how this Maple Leafs lineup is constructed, because you look at the top of the order, you have guys in Dos Santos and Javier that can get on base for your big sluggers in the middle. But then you have a guy like Dan Mara, Spencer Ross, who are at the bottom of the lineup. They are also just contact-first guys that can get on base for the top of the order. Some of the big sluggers have runners on for them. And it's a really good mix of just contact and power, really, 1 through 9.
I saw a deep breath there from pitcher Nikolai Arbach. He's got to, he knows he's got to get through some innings here for Brantford. They cannot afford him only going 3 innings. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 they need at least for him, I think, to get through this game. Obviously, there's lots of pitchers down there. It's just about guys that didn't work yesterday or the day before. I don't know if there's many of those arms.
And really just how fresh guys are. You might have somebody that's available, but they pitch, say, on Friday, and they're still kind of feeling the effects of it.
The thing I found was interesting is that Brantford gave up 20 runs yesterday, and they did not use a position player.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. And again, it's Carter Beatus. He really had a great game and really saved a lot of arms in that bullpen.
Yeah, 4 1/3 out of the bullpen.
Shutout innings.
Shutout innings. Unbelievable. 1-0. Chopped on the ground, and it goes off of John Javier's arm on the way back up. It's not easy to pitch in those games. It's not easy to pitch in those games because when you're already down by 15 runs, you come into the game, all you got to do is throw strikes, but bet us through quality pitches in that outing. So I should just mention, this is Matt Brandt at the plate, not John Javier.
The 3 catchers in the lineup.
One of the
catchers.
catchers.
There, partner.
Yeah. 1-1. Brant hits this one on the ground. Could be two. Flipped to second for one. Back to first. Just in time. Double play. Tim Holk with the big stretch over there at first base. Make sure they recorded the second out. Nice double play tandem there with Bateman and Schmarder up the middle.
And that's a tough play right there, especially after you get the number 7 and 8 batter getting on via a walk and a hit by pitch. Still have a chance to score 1 run here in the inning, but just making it a little bit harder on yourself.
Back to the top of the order, and it's Ryan Dos Santos. Couple home runs on the season for Ryan Dos Santos, leads the team. Maple Leafs would take a single here. Still very early in the game and definitely in that chipping away stage. That pitch is low to Dos Santos.
Yeah, and Dos Santos, I've talked to him a lot about the home runs he's been hitting, and he always says it's the skinny pop. The skinny pop has returned.
Oh, right, it is back. It is back, skinny pop. So that pitch finds the outside corner now, 2-1. That phrase is something I guess he's been saying for a while, but it was popularized with us when he hit a huge home run against Kitchener 2 years ago. Ended up winning the game for the Maple Leafs, and in his post-game interview, dropped that line, the skinny pop. It's like, skinny pop, that's what I'm going to call it? and I've loved that. Although skinny pop is getting pretty ripped. He's been hitting the gym.
He's been hitting the cover off the baseball as well.
3-1, he's found himself in a hitter's count. And he takes outside ball 4. So Ryan Dos Santos continues to find his way on base. He's just doing that at an incredible rate this season.
Yeah, he's somebody that he loves to hit, and you know he's very hard on himself when it comes to getting on base and whatnot. And you know he's talked to me about, man, my average is so low, but I said your on base percentage is over 500.
Yeah,
you're doing a great job.
Yeah, he's walked 10 times now in 35 plate appearances. And he's going. Throw down to second. Safe, and the runner comes home. Dan Mara was taking off for home plate. As soon as he saw Ryan Dos Santos go, the Brantford Red Sox decided, you know what, we're going to gamble that this is going to be an out at second. It wasn't, and now it's 5-2.
And again, Ryan Dos Santos just continuing to play a good brand of baseball. Uses his wheels once more at the top of the lineup. That's his 4th stolen base, which also leads the team.
Here's the 1-0. This is John Javier now at the plate. So, you know, that was a funny play because Dan Mara started coming home not in enough time. I think if they had thrown that ball right back to home plate and without putting the tag on Ryan Dos Santos, I think Dan Mara would have been out at home. But that's just the gamble that Brantford made. It cost them a run, but that's all. Throw to first is in plenty of time with Lucas Bateman there making the play. The Maple Leafs get one back. It's 5-2 Brantford through 2. All right, back here at Dominico Field, and 2 innings is going to spell the end of the day for Drew Howard, and we're going to get to see Adam Jeffine for the first time for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, making his IBL debut here for the Maple Leafs, and you know, it should be interesting to see a big lefty on the mound here.
Yeah, IBL debut with the Maple Leafs. Has played on a couple teams, including the Brantford Red Sox, which he did in 2021, then took a year off, played for the Welland Jackfish in 2023, took a year off, and now he's here with the Maple Leafs. You take a year off between playing with different teams, you become a free agent if you don't play that season. So he's used that, traveled around a couple teams, including a good season last time he played with the Welland Jackfish. Had an ERA of 4.58 in 9 games. A lot of those starts, and he might give the Maple Leafs some length today as well.
Oh, and also the big number that I see is his playoff number in 2021 with Brantford. 2 games started, 18 innings pitched, 27 strikeouts, and only 4 walks in the playoffs back in 2021. So he has a track record of being a very good arm.
As his first pitch finds the outside corner for a strike against the catcher Watt. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball that time misses high. Adam Jeffine stands at 6 feet, 180 pounds on the mound for the Maple Leafs. Here's the 1-1. That one just misses. Wonder how difficult it is for a guy like Matt Brandt. First game with his new team, and congrats, you got to see a bullpen day. High chopper right off the mound. It goes right to Rando Moreno. That worked out all right for the Maple Leafs, and the first out recorded. Good start to Adam Jeffine's Maple Leafs career.
And going back to what you were saying about Matt Brandt, it's probably a gift and a curse when you think about it, because you know, you're getting the experience of catching all these different pitchers, the knowledge of what they throw, but you're also learning it for the first time, and that's always the hard part. But at least after this outing, you can say, okay, this guy, he likes to throw this, the tendencies are like this, and you figure it out. It's just, you know, that's the initial time of learning everything is the hard part.
Matt Torson at the plate takes strike 1. And to that point, you know, when you're playing as a junior guy on these teams, you're always trying to impress your coach, and the way he's going to find his way into the lineup is probably with his bat too, because the catcher position is a pretty hot commodity right now on the Maple Leafs with Javier and Mara and now Brandt. But he does play first base, but that position's also pretty hotly contested for the Maple Leafs with Justin Mara sometimes playing there and Jordan Castaldo.
And when you think about it, really, you know, the more versatility you can have, and I keep just hammering that word down, the more versatility you can have will get you playing time here on this Maple Leafs team.
Yeah, so you got to think about catching all of these different pitchers, and oh, by the way, we're looking for something out of the bat as well. Adam Jeffine missed way up and away there with that pitch to Matt Torson, the right fielder. Torson made a fantastic diving catch, also has a single in the game. Here's Jeffine's 2-2. Low and in.
Jeffine, so far, when you're looking at it, he has really good whipping action on his pitches where he uses his length and just kind of his arm slot to just kind of slingshot that ball into the zone. Obviously, it's hard for a player that's taken a year and a bit off to just get back in the rhythm, but he's looking pretty good so far.
It was 4 years ago now that Adam Jeffine broke into the league playing for the Brantford Red Sox. Oh, pitching against his former team. Here's the 3-2 pitch. This one's hit right back to Jeffine. Nice play. Flips it on to first in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for Adam Jeffine.
That is just a beautiful pitch right there. You can see that was a 12-6 breaking ball where it just completely caught Torson off guard. He was out in front of it, and then not to mention the great pitcher fielding play by Adam Jeffine.
Yeah, it's not easy to field ground balls that are bouncing up the mound. It's if there's a place that's bumpy on the field, it would be right out in front of the mound here at Christie Pitts. That ball can go any which way. Plus, you're on a hill, so that's a nice little play there for Adam Jeffine. Lucas Bateman at the plate now and fouls the first pitch off. Bateman hitting .350 on the season coming into today. It's at 20 at-bats this year. Here's the 0-1. It's just inside.
Looked like another off speed that just didn't break down, but he's releasing it. It's the release point that's just really impressive, when, especially with lefties, because it's sometimes so hard to pick up, even if you're a right-handed batter.
Here's the 1-1. That pitch misses outside as well. You know, there's probably some people wondering, is Ayami Sato in play today? Haven't seen her pitch since last Sunday against the London Majors, or 2 Sundays ago against the London Majors. And the answer to that would be definitely a possibility that we see Sato in this game today. Two and two now on Lucas Bateman. And this one's shot through the right side for a base hit. Stay hot, Lucas Bateman continues to hit well this season in the IBL.
He went down looking his last time up, but that time, like you said, just shoots it through that right side. Having a fantastic start to his season.
First pitch to Graham Tebbett. Check swing, and it was high, just high, from Adam Jeffine. Here's the 1-0. Oh, it's just outside. So Adam Jeffine played a little bit of D1 baseball. That was back in 2014 and 2015. Played for the Northern Kentucky Norse. And then played 2 years in D2 playing for the Charleston Eagles. Another check swing.
This time called strike.
That was called by the home plate umpire?
Yeah.
Jeffine immediately pointed to the first base umpire, so naturally I looked there. Here's the 2-1. Just inside. 3-1 now on Graham Tebbett. Well, last inning, this Brantford Red Sox team, the 7, 8, 9 hitters, did such a good job of getting on base twice and then moving over. That was Schmarter, who moved the 2 runners over and ended up cashing them in. Anytime you're the 7, 8, 9 guys, you get a couple on base in scoring position, turn it over to the top of the lineup, that's a good way to win ball games.
And when you look at the IBL standings, I really don't think that the records indicate really how close this league is this year. There's a lot of talent spread out over every single team, and it should be very interesting to see how the season unfolds.
Here's a 3-2. Hit into the outfield, down the line, foul. Couple feet in front of the wall, but a foul ball by about 10 feet down the right field line. Graham Tebbett gave it a ride, and you know the wind was straightening that thing out a little bit. It's blowing in, but mostly to the left here at Christie Pitts.
Yeah, anything out to right field, that ball is either going to be tailing towards the fielder's right side, or it's just going to kind of die.
Another 3-2 pitch to Tebbett. And it's outside, ball 4. So the bottom of the order for the Brantford Red Sox continuing to be productive. That was a long, well-earned walk from Graham Tebbett.
Yeah, the designated hitter today, Graham Tebbett. He singled first at bat, stole a base, and then now walks. He has seen the ball extremely well.
Yeah, the Welland Jackfish out to a great start in the IBL. Hamilton needs to play some baseball games. And the Maple Leafs right there, right in the mix. They're at 3-3 to start the year.
And just really the teams at the bottom, the Chatham Kent Barnstormers, who were really the story last year, breaking into the league, and then the Barrie Baycats 1-5. You know, it's an interesting league this year. There's a lot of talent really throughout every single team.
Yeah, that is a good point. The last year's IBL champions slow out of the gate. Here's the 0-1. In there for a strike. You think the Welland Jackfish have a chip on their shoulder this year? Didn't even make it to the IBL finals. Got beat out on the way there. It was Guelph and Barrie. They've come out of the gates hot.
Well, every time you talk about the IBL finals, you always have to mention the Welland Jackfish, you know, the talent pool that they always bring in.
Didn't have to last year.
Yeah.
1-2 now on Brody Black. Jeffeen's pitch just outside. Black with a good take on that pitch up and away.
It looks like a fastball. Thought it was hitting the top corner, but just a little bit off.
Lucas Bateman is making himself noticeable out there at second base too, jumping around off the bag. Adam Jeffeen has a look at him and now delivers. And it's chopped foul.
Yeah, Bateman, he's jumping, like you said, and he faked the run like he was going to take off to third. Definitely, why not test out Brant's arm? We haven't really seen it yet.
Well, Brody Black walked in his last at-bat, and he came around to score a little later in the inning. Now 2-2. Jeffeen started out great, now trying to get out of this inning. And the pitch inside to Black. Retired the first two batters in order, and now has a runner on first and second with 2 outs. Adam Jeffeen really needs this pitch here. 3-2 on Brody Black. A swing and a miss, strike 3. That's a big punch out for Adam Jeffeen. And he strands a couple runners on base. Maple Leafs trailing 5-2 to Brantford here on a chilly day at Christie Pitts. Nikolai Arbach back on the mound for the Brantford Red Sox, and he's going to face the number 3 hitter for the Maple Leafs, Rando Moreno, and then Jordan Castaldo after that. He's waiting on deck. I think the umpires were looking back and talking to a fan there behind home plate. Oh.
Music was going on a little bit too long.
Moreno chops one to first base. Hulk steps on the bag in time. Knew he had lots of time to pick that ball up. Took all of it and makes the out.
Yeah, he really did take all of his time there, and a nice hop, skip, and a jump over the bag, so Rando didn't collide with him.
Designated hitter number 5, Jordan Castaldo.
So Jordan Castaldo will get his second look here at Nikolai Arbach. Castaldo is 0 for 1 today, grounded out in his last at-bat. Castaldo swings through that pitch from Arbach.
Looked like a little bit of an excuse me swing where he didn't want to pull the trigger, but he eventually does.
Rarely do you see Jordan Castaldo swing at the first pitch, and if he does, usually doesn't look like that. Here's the 0-1, and that one finds the zone as well, and Castaldo's behind 0-2. Nikolai Arbach, this will be pitch number 50 on the day for him. The 0-2 to Castaldo, just outside. It's a good take there from Jordan. Arbach has really got the pitch count under control after a long first inning, close to 30 pitches. Here's the 1-2. And that one misses as well. Two close pitches from Arbach, but Castaldo had a good look at them just outside. When you think about that mound visit that the catcher Cassidy Watt took in that last inning just to kind of settle down his pitcher Arbach, worked out. Started pounding the strike zone, got the Maple Leafs to ground into some soft contact, and did it once again. Soft ground ball to the second baseman by Jordan Castaldo. 2 times he's grounded it out to Lucas Bateman, and Arbach is ticking along here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, and really when you look at it, that's just a smart play from the catcher to understand the situation last inning. Just let your pitcher know, hey, we have your back. Just put the ball in play. The defense can make the plays, and that's exactly what he did.
This kind of feels like a good matchup for Justin Mara, a hard-throwing righty sidewinder facing the lefty Mara. He seems to thrive in these matchups. Although, I was kind of thinking about this the other day. I was thinking, well, the Maple Leafs 2 times avoided facing Victor Payano of the London Majors, the tough lefty, which I think they'll take. But I also thought, guys like Justin Mara and Jordan Castaldo, they've seen so many lefties go up against them in their IBL career. I wonder if it's almost just become comfortable to them to face those lefties.
Well, you think about the lineup, really just lefties through and through. And it just comes so accustomed to seeing it. They've talked about how they like having Rob Butler throw them BP because it's coming from the left side.
Yeah.
And it gives them that extra view.
Here's the 1-0. That one finds the outside corner, 1-1. Justin Mara, all the Mara brothers are those guys too. Like, they're not lazy. They really like to practice what they're not doing well as much as they possibly can. I think that's what's made all of them such good baseball players.
And they all strive at different aspects of the game. Justin has that strong arm and the power. Dan really comfortable when it comes to fielding and then the contact ability. And then Adam is just a great pitcher with all the off speed, the movements that he has.
The 2-1 hit well down in the left field corner, and it's gone! Justin Mara sneaks it inside the foul pole down the left field line, and the Maple Leafs get one back. It's 5-3.
Well, he got it up into that jet stream, and he worked it. The smoke machine, smoke gun, whatever you want to call it, it's out. Mara just tucks it in between that foul pole.
I don't think I've seen Justin Mara hit a home run like that ever. I think that's the first time I've seen Mara hit a home run to that particular part of the field. Loves to pull the baseball. I've seen him hit it out to left center a few times, but that was an inch inside the pole and about a foot over top of the wall down the left field line.
Yeah, and really, you know, I mentioned it at the start of the game. These left-handed hitters, you notice that Arbach is pitching to the outside. Just take it the other way, and that's just a beautiful piece of hitting done by Justin Morrow, where he notices that everything else in the outer half, takes it the other way, and like you said, just tucks it barely in that foul pole.
Yeah, that's not how I envisioned that at bat going, but it did feel like a good matchup for Justin Morrow. It just felt like something that he would like with this big sidewinding righty. Doesn't mind people throwing the ball hard. He'd prefer that as Marcus Connect drills this one to center field and is down for a base hit. Marcus Connect's got a pretty hot bat for the Maple Leafs right now, too.
Middle of the order, it's coming through right now. Doing a really good job just getting on base, prolonging this inning, and again, working the pitch count of Arbach.
Yeah, this looked like it was going to be a quick inning for Nikolai Arbach. Then Mara sneaks one over the wall, a single for Marcus Connect, and here's Dan Mara now.
And again, we talked about each Mara brother and how they just excel at the game. Dan Mara, the contact ability, he is so good at just putting bat to ball, getting on base.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like as good a matchup for Dan Mara, but I'll bet you he's just looking to hit this one the other way if he can. Instead, he chops one. This is a tough play for the third baseman, Ortega. He can't make it, and the Maple Leafs keep the line moving in the bottom of the third.
What would you put that down as, error or a hit? I think it's a tough play either way with Dan Mara hustling out of the box.
Yeah, that's 50-50 for me. Also, that's the shortstop's play for me, I think. I think that Schmarder might have had a better play on that ball, but Ortega had a beat on it, but he just couldn't field it cleanly.
No, they're giving him an error on the third baseman. I'm going to mark it down as a hit.
Oh. Speaking of hit, Spencer Ross got hit in his last at-bat, and that one he jumped over it, went right under his feet. Spencer Ross only saw one pitch before he got plunked in his last at-bat. Ross takes a strike, and the count's 1-1. Ross is now one of only 10 IBL players that get hit more than once this year. Ross lines it into the outfield for a base hit. Marcus Connect gets the stop sign at third base, and the bases are loaded. Oh, this one goes to the backstop. Connect thought about coming home. Now he goes back to third base.
Heads up by Arbach to go back there and cover. And that's what Marcus Connect thought he saw, was nobody covering behind the catcher, and Arbach, he was back there.
Spencer Ross starting to heat up a little bit for the Maple Leafs. Ross has hits now in his last 3 games. And a little bit of action in the Brantford bullpen. A couple of guys just kind of swinging the arms around. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. We just had a kid get absolutely clotheslined by our Ethernet cable. I think we're back online though. Hopefully everyone can see us. Kid's okay. Stream's okay. No harm done.
Fun times here at Dominico Field.
Here's the 0-2. That one misses low, I believe. Yeah. 3-0.
And we talked about Matt Brandt earlier on in the game, and you know, you come in, it's hard to find playing time. You got to hit the ball, and what a moment it would be right here.
That one finds the zone. Yeah, this is a big spot here for Brandt. Looking for his first hit of the Maple Leafs. No better time for it. Hitters count 3-1. outside, ball 4. Oh, that was a great take there by Matt Brandt. And the Maple Leafs get another run. It's 5-4.
Yeah, you said a great walk by Brandt. It also gets you back to the top of the order for some hot bats.
Yeah, Ryan Dos Santos is one of those hot bats. With 2 outs in the inning, the Maple Leafs had just kept things rolling. And a big hit here from Ryan Dos Santos might change the way this game looks a lot. First pitch in there for a strike. Ryan Dos Santos has continued to walk. He's done it twice today again. He would take one of those as well. But the first pitch was delivered in there for a strike by Arbach. Here's the 0-1. Way outside, 1-1.
It stopped me when you heard this before, but his third at-bat of the day, Dos Santos is yet to register an at-bat.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop me when you've heard that one before, partner.
The 1-1, up and away. I mean, if you're Nikolai Arbach here, you know, you've fallen behind in the count, just walked in a run on a 3-1 pitch. He's probably just going to have to groove a fastball in there to Ryan Dos Santos. The 2-1, he missed outside. And he's frustrated with the home plate umpire. He kind of had a look at him on that 3-1 pitch, thought he might have caught the outside corner, and that one, he really wanted that call. It's 3-1 again, but if you're Nikolai Arbach here, you got to just zone in on the strike zone. And he does. Clips the bottom of the zone, and the count's 3-2. Dos Santos was taken all the way.
Thought, you know, Dos Santos would be a little bit aggressive there, knowing that he has to come at him, but no, he still waits for his pitch. One of the most patient hitters in the IBL.
And he hits this one in the air, deep to left field, and it's caught right in front of the wall. Oh man, Brody Black made a great play going back to get that baseball. Got a great jump on it, caught it right in front of the wall, and that changes things a lot. That would have been an RBI double for Ryan Dos Santos. Instead, the Brantford Red Sox hold the lead. It's 5-4 here in Toronto.
Dig back to earlier in your life and early in your playing career as well, because I know you have an unbelievable story just to get to where you are playing in the Intercounty Baseball League and throughout your college career as well, because you beat cancer when you were a lot younger. Can you kind of tell me about being 10 years old and having a diagnosis like
comes
that?
up big.
Yeah, for sure. So I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's
the Maple
lymphoma,
Leafs
stage 4
needed
B,
a
so
big swing, and
basically,
Castaldo answered the
cancer,
call.
is what they wanted to describe it as. I was diagnosed on my birthday, and then they didn't want to treat me. They told my dad to take me home. Like, he's like has like 2 more months to live. Like, let him like kind of enjoy. And my dad's like, hell no. Whatever you can do to treat, like he's gonna try something. So we ended up doing chemo. 9 months of chemo, some blood transfusions, like the whole bit, the whole 9 yards. And we did some radiation, and then we had to get government approved, did some more radiation. I mean, like, it was definitely hard. I mean, all the doctors that said I would never play sports again. Everyone thought I was going to be like completely almost like just like a normal person where like couldn't do any sports, couldn't go to the gym anymore. Like, they thought I wouldn't build up strength again. And I think that fired up my determination the most, was like, oh, you say I can't? I bet you I can. And then like people would be like, okay, like fine, he's back playing baseball, but he'll never play competitive. And then I was like, okay, we'll see. And then I ended up joining OBJ. And then they're like, okay, that's it. After high school, he's done. And then I was like, no, I'm going to find a way. And then I went to college. And then that was always my goal, is always to find like the next level. Like, as soon as someone says I can't, I was like, oh, I'm going to show you I can. Like, that was always like my mentality growing up. For me, it's more of a story to show other kids that are going through treatments and that are going in the hospital right now that like there's still more to life after your treatment. Like, there's not just a give up point, and it's really hard to see in the moment. And a lot of kids like give up sports or give up hope. And I even started a charity at one point.
Well, big inning for the Maple Leafs. They get a couple more runs. Ryan Dos Santos flying out to the warning track there in left field. And now Sam Spencer is into the game, one of the junior players for the Maple Leafs, to try and hold the lead at 1 for Brantford. First batter he faces is the shortstop Schmarter, and it's fouled off.
Schmarter, he has the 1 plate appearance back in the 2nd inning, grounded out to second base.
Here's the 1-1 from Spencer, and that one just misses. Sam Spencer, a big guy, big imposing presence on the mound, kind of like Nikolai Arbach.
Different arm angles, though. Arbach, that side-winding kind of tall presence. Spencer comes just straight over the top.
2-2 on the first batter he faces in his IBL career, Schmarter, and he got him. Strike 3 called. What a start to Sam Spencer's IBL career.
Yeah, and Schmarter, he knew it immediately, too. He immediately started walking back to that first base dugout. That's a great off-speed to the right-handed batter. Oh, great backdoor breaking ball. Some of the favorite ones you like to see.
Now that brings up Ethan Paulos. And the first pitch from Spencer, right at the knees, strike 1. Paulos, the leadoff hitter for Brantford, is 0 for 1 today. Here's the 2-1. That one misses inside 3-1. Yeah, Spencer, he's got a pretty good looking fastball. Gets in there with a good amount of velocity, but I think that was an off-speed pitch he used to get his first strikeout. And he finds the knees, strike 2. That's a big pitch to get himself right back in the count.
Paulus had that sac fly last time up, the RBI.
And he misses just inside. Paulus thought he'd walked on the 3-1 pitch. This one a little bit further inside, and he does get his way to first base.
Well, this is where all the damage has come from for Brantford today. It's the 2-3 hitters. First here, now batting, it's Christian Ortega. He had that big booming 2-run shot. He's 2 for 2 on the day with that home run and a single.
And every time he's come to the plate, he's scored and got on base. Right now he's trying to move Ethan Paulos along, who's at first base. Ortega's got that batting average up to 281 now on the season. Runner goes, Paulos, throw down to second, in time, he got him. What a great throw from Matt Brandt to gun down the runner at first base. And that's a big play for the Maple Leafs.
And I mentioned, we haven't really seen him, or we haven't seen runners test him. And Matt Brandt, he told everyone, hey, I got an arm too. May not be just tomorrow, but I have a great arm. And that's a absolute dime of a throw. Right on target, right in the path where they need to put down the tag. Can't draw it up any better than that.
1-2 now. Ortega lashes this one to the outfield. Marcus Connect slides. He traps it underneath him. That's going to go down as a line drive base hit. So Ortega's now 3 for 3.
What a day Ortega's having at the plate right now. Really one of the main reasons why Brantford is really in this ball game. Seeing the ball extremely well from 3 different pitchers.
Yeah, if there was a guy who's been just as good in this Brantford lineup as Ortega's been today, it would be Tim Holk with that booming 2-run home run in the first inning. And that home run, yes, the wind is blowing out to left field. Didn't need the wind's help at all.
No, it was hit the top of the trees.
Way out there onto the soccer field. The 1-0 is low, 2-0 now. Tim Holk now hitting 346 on the year for Brantford. That was a big swing there, and he chops it foul at home plate. Catcher Cassidy Watt is on deck for Brantford. That pitch inside, ticks off the glove of the Leafs catcher Brandt and goes to the backstop, so that's an extra 90 feet now for Ortega at second base.
That's an unfortunate break. Maybe a little bit of a mix-up between pitcher and catcher there. Looked like a high fastball. Brandt might have been setting up for that off speed. And that's a scary thing as a catcher is when you get crossed up with your pitcher.
Especially when your pitcher throws as hard as Sam Spencer does. Tim Hawk crushing one to left field, down the line, fair ball, home run Tim Hawk, and Brantford adds a couple more.
RBI number 3 and 4 on the day. Tim Hulk is hammering the baseball right now.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when you look at these games, you look at the lineup card for opposing teams coming into Christie Pitts, and Tim Hulk is just one of those names where you thought, yeah, you know, he might do some damage today at Dominico Field. And that has been the case so far. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs on the afternoon.
Hulk and Ortega have scored a combined 5 runs today for Brantford.
Oh, that's a tough one for the Maple Leafs. This game is far from over, but just felt like Sam Spencer had a good chance to get out of the inning, and he gets Tim Hulked just like Drew Howard did in the first. So this is Cassidy Watt. Watt 0 for 2 on the day. Hitting just 143 on the season for Brantford. The 0-1 finds the zone, strike 2. The 0-2 pitch misses outside. Cassidy Watt played for Dakota State University and hails out of Coquitlam, BC. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the ground towards the third base dugout, and it's foul. Here's the 1-2. Fouled off once again.
And now you've gone fastball on the outside half both times. This is where you got to kind of rev up and off speed. You have the opportunity. You're in a good count. Just got to bury one lone away.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Sam Spencer, his first 2 in his Intercounty Baseball League career, but Tim Hulk comes up big again, a 2-run home run, this one also to left field, and it's a 7-4 lead for Brantford. Now by Spencer Ross from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Spencer, obviously lots to talk about with this game. Maybe we'll just start with a couple hits, you know, just kind of getting your first as the Maple Leaf. You got a couple big doubles in this game as well. Just kind of how did that feel?
Felt great, you know, Rob trusted me to stay in there, and felt good to come through finally. You know, it's tough starting with a new team, so it's good to help the club out.
I know there's a lot of negatives that you could take away from this game, also a lot of positives. Maybe just some of the positives. I mean, this team was, you guys were down 4-0, you guys were down by 7 runs, you guys were down an extra. You still found a way to fight back every single time. What does that kind of say about the team?
Yeah, it's a resilient group. I mean, everyone contributes, everyone knows how to play the game, and it's a lot of fun to be with these guys and getting to know them, and man, there's no quit. Yeah, it's good. It's a pretty good open conversation about what we want to do. And generally there's some straightforward stuff, so it's good to be on the same page, but I might have to learn some Spanish.
Just to start this season, a win and a couple losses. I know that win in Barrie was really big for you guys. I know this one's a little bit of a heartbreaker, but what kind of takeaways did you take away just from the start that Leafs have had this season?
I mean, this is a great group. A lot of fight. These are close games every game. There's no quit. That's all I really got to say. No quit.
It's a 7-4 lead for the road team, the Brantford Red Sox here in Toronto. Nikolai Arbach is back on the mound, and the Maple Leafs are trying to get something going against him. Third time through the lineup now, John Javier at the plate. John Javier has been great to start this year, although he's 0 for 2 today, so now he's not leading the Intercounty Baseball League in batting average anymore. This one's popped up, shallow center field, and that one's playable there for Ethan Palos, out number 1.
Again, it's another big swing by Javier. He just gets underneath it, though, this time.
Rando Moreno, last time he was here, playing against London in the 9th inning, blasted a home run. Now he bloops one into the outfield, and that'll work for a base hit. Rando Moreno has his second hit of the day. Rando Moreno is just got his batting average over 300 now on the season. He's hitting .313. Jordan Castaldo has also had a great start to the year at the dish, although he's 0 for 2 today, so now hitting .381 on the season.
And I want to bring this up. Jordan Castaldo is one of 3 Maple Leafs hitters that has an OPS over 1,000. The slugging coming in today sitting at .684. The on base .593.
Pops this one foul down the left side and into the Leafs bullpen.
And the other 2 batters that have that OPS over 1,000, well, it's the other 2 in the top 3, Dos Santos and Javier.
Yeah. Yeah, Jordan Castaldo will, he's got that great power, but he gets those monster OPS numbers because of the on-base part of the OPS as well. He gets on base so much. And then, you look at what he did in London, and that's just such a prototypical day for Jordan Castaldo, where he gets a double, a couple hits, walks. If he gets his pitches, he swings at them. He's just pretty stubborn at the plate when it comes to getting his pitch.
Sounds like another Maple Leaf in the lineup.
Yeah, Ryan Dos Santos. Dos Santos and Castaldo, by the way, are leading the Intercounty Baseball League in walks. Dos Santos has 10 on the season.
Castaldo's sitting at 7 or 8, I believe.
Yeah, 7, I think, on the year. Here's the 0-2. Castaldo fouls it off. Well, Nikolai Arbach knows that Jordan Castaldo is picky at the plate, and he's pounded him with pitches in the strike zone today. Jordan Castaldo, for the second at-bat in a row, has found himself in an 0-2 count. And the funny thing is that Castaldo's already picked up at that. He swung at the first pitch twice as well.
Being aggressive.
The 0-2 pitch. Castaldo grounds one to first. Tim Holk picks it up, whips to second for 1, back to first. Not in time, but I mean, it could have been in time if Nikolai Arbach was standing on first base.
It looks like he went over to cover and he just lost track of where the bag was. What a pick at first, though, by Holk.
Yeah, that was a great play just to pick the ball up, and gutsy as well to gun that ball to second base. The easy play would be to first, but Tim Holk was looking for more, and I think if Arbach had his foot on the base there, that would have been a bang-bang play at first base.
I think he ran over, lost track of the base, and by the time he looked up, the ball was already coming to him, so he just kind of had to give up on the play. Looks like Arbach is just moving a little bit faster here. He's getting set, getting his pitch, and he's just delivering. Not really any hesitation.
That's exactly what he did last inning, too. Sometimes you see Yeah, I picked that up as well. Sometimes you see when things start getting tough, pitchers start slowing down.
Yeah.
But Nikolai Arbach started speeding up when he had the bases loaded. He walked in a run, and he was pitching quickly. So I'm wondering if he's just kind of riding that out now in this inning. 0-2 once again. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Man, Nikolai Arbach has found himself in a groove. Has given up 4 runs today, but now is starting to give the Brantford Red Sox a little bit of length as well. They lead 7-4 over Toronto. So this is what's coming up for the Toronto Maple Leafs on June 6th. That game is here. It's a Friday night game. First one at Christie Pitts in, I don't know, maybe forever. Here at Dominico Field. That's against the Guelph Royals. Then they're out to Chatham-Kent to play the Barnstormers, and then the Welland Jackfish are back here at Dominico Field on the 8th. And not an easy slate of games for the Maple Leafs coming up, but they do get a couple off days before Friday when they play Guelph. So, and the Guelph Royals look like a pretty strong team this season as well.
Again, it's just the same old in the IBL. All these teams, highly competitive. It's going to be a tough trek going all the way up there to Chatham-Kent, and then next day you have a home game against a tough opponent, the Welland Jackfish. Doesn't get that easy next weekend.
No, it's going to be tough. And the toughest thing about Chatham-Kent is just how far you have to go to get there.
The drive is killer. It's about almost a 3-hour drive.
Matt Torreson at the plate now for Brantford, and Sam Spencer has fallen behind 2-1. Torreson swings over the top of that pitch. I think he might have foul tipped it at home plate. Either way, strike 2. Spencer almost got through a clean inning of work last time out, and then Tim Holk hit the home run to put Brantford up by 3. And there's a swing and a miss. Third strikeout of the outing for Sam Spencer. He's got a hard fastball, but he's used that breaking ball really well in this outing as well. The second baseman, Lucas Bateman, at the plate, and he hits one on the ground to first. Oh, that's a nifty play there by Justin Mara, who does not play first base every day. He's usually the catcher or a DH for the Maple Leafs, but that was a real nice play, and that brings up Graham Tebbett to the plate.
Yeah, nice one where he just kind of fields it going backwards. Justin Mara, really good hand-eye coordination, and I mean, that just kind of comes with being a back catcher and consistently being active, but yeah, it makes the easy play over there at first.
Defense was something that the Maple Leafs management staff really wanted to emphasize this season. Rob Butler really wanted to emphasize, just coming up and doing your job in runners in scoring position. The management did not like errors last year. And the Maple Leafs had a lot of them on the infield last season. This year it's been pretty good.
They've cleaned it up, and I think that's kind of it's a statement and just a kind of team mentality that they have where they want to clean up their defense.
Here's a play to third base. Throw to first. Scoped at first by Justin Mara. Put it right in the heel of the glove, and he's still holding it out there at first base. Big smile from Justin Mara as he heads back to the dugout. That was a nice defensive play. 2 good defensive plays from Justin Mara in the inning, and Sam Spencer gets through a clean frame as well. Brantford ahead by 3 here in Toronto.
2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-run lead for the Cardinals. Rodney with the look in, delivers. Hulk hammers it deep into left field, and it's out of here. Tim Hulk in the top of the 9th inning has hit a 3-run home run off Fernando Rodney. And the complexion of this game.
Well, the Maple Leafs need some runs here. They got the quick inning from Sam Spencer. They trail by 3. We're in the bottom of the 5th, and it's Marcus Connect who's coming up at the plate against Nikolai Arbach, who, Zach, you mentioned he's doing something a little bit differently on the mound now.
Yeah, and early on in the game, he has a little bit of a leg kick in his delivery. Now he's getting set. It takes 1, maybe 2 breaths, and he's just slide stepping and going. He is working extremely quick. And when you do this as a pitcher, you throw the tempo off of the hitter, and it makes it very hard for them to time up when the ball's coming out of your hand.
Marcus Connect rockets one down towards first base. Yeah, it's almost like he's kind of quick pitching the batter. He's not letting them get settled in the box and get in their rhythm, and it's been working out. Now look at Marcus Connect here. He's kind of waiting outside the box, taking his time, takes a few breaths, forcing Arbach to wait a little bit. 1-1, swung on a missed.
Yeah, and we saw it, the best example of it was that Justin Mara at bat, where Mara really saw 3 pitches, and it was just all quick pitches. He had no time to get set in the box, calm down, really kind of figure out what's coming at him next.
The 1-2 connect, and he checked his swing. So Marcus Connect is going to head down to first base as he draws himself a leadoff walk. Dan Mara hits one on the ground to third, throw to first in time, but that is going to advance the runner Marcus Connect to second base.
Good throw across the diamond right there.
Third baseman, number 2,
Spencer Ross coming up to bat here, and he's had himself a pretty solid day. Walked earlier, was hit by the pitch, I should say, and he singled. He was stranded on third. Or stranded on second. But in the 8 or 9 hole, Spencer Ross, he's really done a good job flipping over the order to get to those hot bats at the top of the order. Again, there's 3 Maple Leaf players with a OPS over 1,000, and it's the 1, 2, 3 batters in the lineup. Arbach, first pitch, missed low for ball 1. Ross hits this right back up the middle, taken on a hop there by shortstop, throw across diamond in time to get Ross.
Well, it does get Marcus Connect over to third base. And Maple Leafs, they don't need to get everything back right here. I think they would be very interested to get into the Brantford Red Sox bullpen, but unfortunately for them, Nikolai Arbach has really settled in.
Yeah, once he kind of dictated the pace of play himself, it's been a really different game for this Maple Leafs hitters.
First pitch misses to the new Maple Leafs catcher, Matt Brandt. Brandt recorded his first RBI as a Maple Leaf in his last at-bat, and he did it by walking with the bases loaded.
The team motto, just get on base. Doesn't even matter if it's via the walk.
The 1-1. Chopped foul towards the Brantford Red Sox dugout.
And I wonder if, you know, Arbach, obviously it's hard for us to see up here, but I wonder how much deceptions he's having in his pitches, because that swing right there by Brant, it looked like he wanted to pull the trigger initially, stopped, and because he was already in the motion, he just kind of swung through it.
The 1-2. Foul tips it off the glove of the catcher, Watt.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like comfortable at bats right now, and ever since that mound visit, like you mentioned by the catcher, Watt, ever since he visited him on the mound, calmed him down, Arbach has been really, really good.
Another quick delivery.
Quick delivery. I think he came over the top there as well.
Oh, yeah. Did he?
It wasn't as sidewinding as we've been seeing all game. That one looked a little bit more over top.
Here's the 1-2. This one's chopped high off the home plate, flipped to first as it came right back to Nikolai Arbach, and quite fitting. He's had himself a great day. Through 5 innings for Brantford. They needed innings. He's given them innings and some shutdown ones as well over the last 3. Well, Sam Spencer is going to give way to Jeremy Newton, who's the new pitcher coming into the game for the Maple Leafs. He will face 8, 9, and 1 in the Brantford Red Sox lineup.
And I don't know if you caught it right there. Newton and Brant are having a conversation of just what the pitches are and
hey, what pitches do you throw?
Exactly, yeah. That's something that we talked about earlier in the game, but it's just on display there.
Big swing and a miss on the first pitch from Newton. The 0-1 over the outside corner for a strike. 3 appearances on the season for Jeremy Newton. They've gone quite well. Last time got himself through a pretty much clean inning against the Guelph Royals back on May 24th. That game was in Guelph. On the season, he has an ERA of 3.00. Couple strikeouts in his 3 innings pitched as well. Looking for another one here against Brody Black. And he misses low and away.
Brody Black, he walked and later on scored in that big second inning for the Brantford Red Sox.
Jeremy Newton has been the bridge guy in a lot of close games for the Maple Leafs. Back on May 11th in the home opener, the first game of the IBL season, gave up a run over an inning and 2/3 against Kitchener. Swing and a miss. That was a nasty pitch from Jeremy Newton. Gets a big strikeout of Brody Black.
That's a big excuse me swing right there by Black. And Newton, like you said, he's been that bridge guy, but he's also just been a really good arm out of the bullpen for the Maple Leafs. Comes in whenever they need him, and he just throws strikes.
Schmarder, the number 9 hitter and shortstop for Brantford, into the game now, or at the plate now, and takes strike 1 from Newton. The 0-1 in there for a strike as well, 0-2. Newton hasn't given up a hit in each of his last 2 appearances. And misses high.
Should also say happy birthday to Jeremy Newton.
Oh, yeah.
It's his birthday today.
Yeah, they played a little song for him on the speaker, too. This one's grounded to short. Rando Moreno throws to first in time to make the out. Rando Moreno hasn't had much action over there at shortstop. A lot of ground balls to Spencer Gross and first base Justin Mara.
That's the second ground ball hit to Rando Moreno.
Just the second.
Just the second one today.
Do you know when the first one was, out of curiosity?
It was Cassidy Watt back in the third to start off the third.
This one's a fly ball to left. Going over is Dos Santos, and that one's out of his reach. He picks it up right in front of the wall, whips it all the way to third base. Pretty good throw. And that is a double. And a runner on base for the Brantford Red Sox.
Again, the top of the order coming through, making plays, and as where it gets scary, Christian Ortega, who has been seeing the ball extremely well all day, is coming up to the plate. 3 for 3, 2 RBIs, 2 singles, and that big home run.
Yeah, that was the first hit of the day for Ethan Paulos. He's batting average now up to 429. This is Ortega, who wasn't off to a particularly hot start to the season. He's been hot today, though. 3 for 3, 3 runs scored, home run. And just like that, he's hitting 300. The 1-0. Popped up, foul. This one's towards the first base side, actually behind home plate. The 1-1 outside.
I don't blame Newton. He's trying to stay away from him here on the outer half, and Ortega's just not biting.
Ortega was 1 for 5 against Kitchener. The one hit was a double. Also had a couple hits against Welland, so he's really starting to get things going. A 3-game hitting streak now for him. A bit of a slow start to the season. Maple Leafs might want to be careful here with Ortega. You don't want to walk him, but you also don't want to groove one down the middle. This one's hit to second base. Dan Mara picks it up, and by the time he does, there's nowhere to throw the baseball. I'll probably go down as an error on the second baseman, Mara, and 2 runners on, first and third for Brantford, top of the 6th with 2 outs. And Jeremy Newton is now going to have to bear down and try and get Tim Holk out.
It's a little tough right there. That ball was laced over to Dan Mara, and it's tough to make a play on a ball like that. Well, and here's been the killer, you should say, in the game. Tim Holk 4 RBIs on the day, 2 home runs.
First pitch misses. It's got to be a bit of an uneasy feeling as a pitcher, too, knowing a guy has already hit the ball of the yard 2 times. You got to pitch to him here. You don't have a base open. Here's the 1-0, upstairs 2-0, and now you've fallen behind that said hitter 2-0. I mean, Cassidy Watt, who is on deck, is 0 for 3 today with a strikeout and hitting 136 on the season. I don't know. I don't know if Newton's missing or just being careful here against Tim Holk.
I mean, I don't blame him if he's pitching around him here. Like you said, Cassidy Watt on deck, 0 for 3 on the day. It's not a bad option. You know, see if he chases one outside, but don't give him anything that he can groove.
The 3-0, inside ball 4. I think Tim Holk wanted to swing the bat there. I think he would have been okay if that was called a strike.
I don't blame him. You have 2 home runs that were really just moonshots over that left field wall, and, well, now you just got to go after Watt here. You have nowhere to put him. Newton, you got to understand the assignment.
Well, this is the guy that the Leafs got to get. We saw Rando Moreno there at shortstop. He kind of had some words of encouragement here for Jeremy Newton because he knows this is a big spot. The Maple Leafs know if they can get by Nikolai Arbach, they might be able to get some runs against this Brantford bullpen. But the opportunity's not there if the Red Sox cash in a run or 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 runs here. Got to get Cassidy Watt.
Doesn't help. You just gotta go out and attack him. You can't fall behind. Just 2 fastballs just missing.
So Jeremy Newton takes the glove off. Make sure he's got a good grip on that baseball. Probably a couple deep breaths out there as well. Trying to find the strike zone here against Watt. And he does not. That pitch is high for a ball.
Just 3 straight arm-high fastballs, and just tells me from here, Newton is just not finishing the pitches. Everything's staying high and up.
The 3-0. Over the outside corner for a strike 3-1. Now he's got to find the zone again. Swing and a miss, 3-2.
Good chase.
Watt may have gone up out of the strike zone to chase that pitch. Newton taking his time on the mound here for Toronto, knowing the importance of this pitch right here. 3-2, and it's hit in the air. This one's to center field. It's hit pretty well. Back goes Jean Javier. He reaches up and makes the catch as he crashes into the wall. And the Leafs and Jeremy Newton get out of it. Brantford Red Sox with the bases loaded cannot cash in, although Cassidy Watt put a pretty good swing on that baseball, and it remains a 7-4 lead for Brantford. Back here at Dominico Field, and it was a fantastic outing. 5 innings of work for Nikolai Arbach with the Maple Leafs in the bottom of the 6th inning, get into the Brantford Red Sox bullpen. The first guy up, Koki Togashi, who pitched 3 innings just 2 days ago, faced 19 batters over those 3 innings. Had some really good outings before that 3-inning performance, and the Maple Leafs are going to try to make him pitch because that arm is not well rested.
And this is going to be an interesting adjustment for all these Maple Leaf hitters, because you go from a guy who's, you know, super tall, 6'9", sidewinding, to a guy in Koki Togashi who's a lot shorter and coming straight over the top. So it's a different arm angle, different slot, and just the movement of the ball is going to be completely different than these Toronto Maple Leaf hitters have seen all day long.
The 1-1 misses outside. So 2 days ago, Koki Togashi threw 63 pitches. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Just inside 3-1. Togashi in that outing, 3 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs, 3 of them earned, and struck out 3. Just 1 walk though. 3-1 to Dos Santos, and he hits it in the air. This is a fly ball to left field. Is it playable? It's going towards the wall and crashing into the wall, and making the catch is Brody Black. Oh, he's made a couple great plays in the outfield. That ball off the bat of Ryan Dos Santos almost left the yard.
Yeah, both plays have been on Ryan Dos Santos, where it's been a hard hit ball to left field. Again, going with the wind. That's what a lot of these lefty-handed hitters have been doing, but this one just stays in, and Brody Black takes another hit away from him.
Yeah, Brody Black crashed into the wall. You could tell he didn't expect that wall to be there that quickly. He was just backing up, slammed into the wall, and simultaneously made the catch. Just what a play to hold on to that ball.
And one thing you always got to remember, there's no warning track here at Christie Pitts. It is just all grass up into the wall. And usually with the warning track, you're able to tell, okay, I'm 3 steps away from the wall, 2 steps. There is none. It is hard to tell.
The 0-1. Fouled off to the left side. You could tell Brody Black right after he caught that baseball, he's stretching out the back a little bit. I don't think that felt great.
That wall is not forgiving whatsoever.
I don't think it felt great crashing into that chain link fence. 0-2 now on John Javier. He's got great power himself. And he swings and misses strike 3. So 2 outs recorded here by Koki Togashi. And this is a tough part of the Maple Leafs order too, 1, 2, 3. It's gonna bring Rando Moreno to the plate. He's had a good day, 2 for 3. On deck, Jordan Castaldo. Moreno lines one right back up the middle. That's a sharp base hit in his 3rd of the day.
Just a good piece of hitting again out of Rando Moreno. And he's been solid out of that 3 spot. 3 for 4 so far today. Just a great piece of hitting from the shortstop.
So this is the part of the day where the Maple Leafs are going to ask for a big hit from one of their veterans in Jordan Castaldo.
Yeah. Well, the breaking news, partner, over in London, the Majors just walked off the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, 8-7.
Yeah, London bouncing back after that loss to the Leafs.
Chatham-Kent putting 6 up in the 8th inning.
Oh, geez, that was a wild game.
We got similarities in the other 2 games as well. Guelph is up 7-1, top of the 5th on the Hamilton Cardinals. Barry Baycats up 7-1, bottom 6 on the Panthers.
Castaldo drills this one to left, and the catch is made by Brody Black. Went to his left, then back to his right. Obviously fighting the effects of the wind out there in left field, and the Maple Leafs do not score. Koki Togashi, a good inning of work as we head to the 7th. Well, back here at Dominico Field, another pitching change for the Maple Leafs. It's Chris Nagorski, the IBL veteran and 5-time IBL champion on the mound for the Maple Leafs. He's going to face Matt Torreson, and the first pitch is fouled off. Jeremy Newton did a good job to get out of that jam there in the last inning. Getting a fly out to deep center field to finish it off, and now handing things over to Chris Nagorski. Torreson fouls that one off.
Interesting to see in the dugout for the Maple Leafs. Dennis DeBanning, he is standing up. He's getting kind of acclimated, grabbing a bat. Possibly coming in for a pinch hit opportunity.
The 0-2 fouled off by Torreson again. Chris Nagorski has come out of the bullpen pounding the strike zone to start this outing. And finds the outside corner, strike 3 called. Nagorski with the big out number 1.
Great pitch on the outside half, and Nagorski works quickly through his first batter in Torreson.
A little bit of action in the Leafs bullpen as well. Ayami Sato getting loose down there in the pen. See if she might be in play after Nagorski. It's the second baseman, Lucas Bateman, at the plate. Chris Nagorski misses with that pitch. That's the first ball he's throwing in this outing. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1 here on Bateman. And Nagorski finds the zone again. Boy, he is dialed in on that bottom half of the strike zone, Chris Nagorski, especially on the outer half to these right-handed hitters.
Yeah, he's not afraid. He's going right after him, and that's exactly what you want to see right now. And a pitcher coming in relief here, especially when you're down by 3.
The 1-2 misses outside. 2-2 on Bateman. Bateman 1 for 3 with a strikeout today. Nagorski's pitch hit right back to him. Quick reflexes there from Chris Nagorski to throw out Bateman, and that's out number 2.
Well, how about this for an appearance? Chris Nagorski, 2 quick outs, and well, he's doing it all himself on the mound so far.
A strikeout. Ground out right back to the pitcher, and now it's Graham Tebbett. Tebbett takes a strike. This is the second appearance of the season for Nagorski. The 0-2 to Tebbett. Check swing, didn't go around.
Tebbett 1 for 2. Walked as well as the single. And then the big stolen base out of the designated hitter today.
Nagorski last pitched on May 18th against the London Majors. This pitch to Tebbett misses low. The count now 2-1. 7-4 Brantford Red Sox trying to come up with a gutsy win here against the Maple Leafs on the back end of a 3-3. The 2-1 swung on and missed. Chris Nagorski looks tough to hit up there if you're a Brantford hitter. Why? 2-2. Popped foul territory, right side. Justin Mara going over, but he can't make the play.
Just out of play. And you said it, Nagorski, he's going up there with a plan. He's just attacking these hitters, and shows why. You know, in his career, he's been a very dominant bullpen arm. Mention has those 5 championships.
Yeah, really good guy just to have down there in the bullpen. Like, you look at all the young guys on the Maple Leafs as well. Not a bad guy to go talk to, Chris Nagorski, with the experience that he's had. The 2-2 just misses high, and the count runs full. Chris Nagorski really wants to get this out right here. Try and get through a clean 1-2-3 inning. The full count pitch, and it's popped up on the infield. Dan Mara under it and makes the catch, and that concludes a dominant 1-2-3 inning for Chris Nagorski. And he's trying to bridge the gap for the Maple Leafs, and they need some runs as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Well, top of the 7th inning, Koki Togashi back on the mound. We mentioned threw 63 pitches 2 days ago. And now trying to get through 2 innings here for Brantford. Justin Mara, the first batter that he'll face. Little hesitation and a breaking ball delivered in there for a strike. Maple Leafs with 9 outs to work with here against Brantford. Togashi pounds the bottom of the zone and the count's 0-2.
Well, this is still very doable for the Leafs. Only down by 3. Again, this Brantford pitching staff, they are exhausted. A lot of pitching in the 3-3 that they're currently in.
Mara able to lay off, and the count's 1-2. Togashi's 1-2 pitch. Mara hits one to third, and it takes a friendly Christy Pitts hop up over the third baseman Ortega. Nothing he could do with that. That hit the lip of the grass and went straight in the air, and the Maple Leafs have a fortunate single to lead things off.
You said it best. A classic Christy Pitts hop.
Yeah, Ortega kind of looked over at Togashi there and said, hey, you know, there's nothing you can do, and you can see a big smile there on the face of Koki Togashi. So the Maple Leafs, maybe this is their break to try and take advantage. It's Marcus Connect who's coming to the dish now. Great power from the right side of the plate from Marcus Connect, and he's been hitting the ball well lately. 1 for 2 today. He's also walked. Marcus Connect was 3 for 5 against the London Majors, and it brought him back to a career 300 hitter in the Intercounty Baseball League. That's including playoffs and regular season. Something that he dropped below last season. He hit 266, which by Connect standards was a down year, and he's looking to bounce back this season.
He's had a good stretch of play here recently. Another good day today for Connect, 1 for 2.
The 0-2, slashed down the line, a dive, and it gets past the outstretched glove of Matt Torson. That's a fair ball as well. Marcus Connect cruises into second base with a double. Mara up to third, and the Leafs have something cooking here in the bottom of the 7th.
And Mara, he had to hold up at first because Torson over there in right field, he was making a play on the ball. It was just out of the reach of his outstretched glove. And you said it best. They have something cooking here in the bottom of the 7th. Tying run at the plate.
I talked to Marcus Connect about coming to the Intercounty Baseball League because Connect, he's had such high expectations throughout his whole career. Got drafted twice, one to Minnesota, and then he got drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays in the 3rd round. And he kind of talked about the weight of that, and trying to live up to those expectations. As the first pitch is inside to Mara, but then he also talked about the expectations when he came to the Intercounty Baseball League in 2018, and he had that same pressure because he came to the league. He said, well, I was a draft pick. I'm supposed to be really good. And he struggled to start his year in 2018, and then became the hitter that we know, Marcus Connect in the Intercounty Baseball League. So if there's anyone that knows how to bounce back after a bit of a slow season, it's Marcus Connect.
Yeah, and he's a very strong and very smart hitter, and really philosophy.
Dan Mara gets into this one, deep to left, and gone! Dan Mara leaves the yard, and the Maple Leafs have tied it up.
Talk about something we don't see too often. Dan Mara gets a hold of one. And I mean, what a hit out of Mara. Finds it beautifully, just hits it right over that left field wall.
Oh, that's a big swing from the Maple Leafs second baseman. Look at that. That's a great shot there. Cashes in his brother. Justin scores from third base. Dan Mara on the 3-run home run off Koki Tagashi, and it's a brand new ball game at Christie Pitts. It's also going to spark a pitching change for the Brantford Red Sox, and we'll be right back with that. Well, for Dan Mara, first home run since August 1st, 2023, and 13th career home run in his Intercounty Baseball League career that dates back to 2011. And what a big time to get his yearly home run. That's what Dan Mara usually has in the Intercounty Baseball League. That's a big swing from.
And partner, I mean, we had big home runs hitting all around Toronto within the 5 minutes of each other.
Oh yeah, you want to shout out Barger?
Just down the road, Addison Barger just hit a 3-run homer to put the Jays up 5-4 over the Athletics. But what about that? Which one was bigger though, Barger's or Mara's? I think Mara's.
Dan Mara. That's a huge shot. The 0-2 from Aiden Armitage. He's the new pitcher on the mound for the Brantford Red Sox. Last pitched against Welland on the 29th. Got through 2 good innings in that outing.
Again, we said this was kind of the best case scenario for the Leafs because this bullpen, it has been worked. Everyone is exhausted out of the Brantford bullpen.
The 3-1 by Spencer Ross is hit on the ground, throw to first in time to record out number 1. Also, I've been saying that this is a 3-3 here for the Brantford Red Sox, and while that's the case, it's also a 4-4 for the Brantford Red Sox because they played on the 29th against Welland. They played on the 30th against Welland. Then they played against Kitchener on the 31st, and now playing here today on June 1st.
Wow. They had a home and home with Welland.
I didn't even check to see. I didn't think that was yeah, I guess it was a rainout game for the Welland game. But that's actually, wow. I didn't even think that was possible. So
it's not something we typically see here in the Intercounty Baseball League.
Yeah, so Aiden Armitage pitched on the first day of this 4-4 for the Brantford Red Sox. Now in a 7-7 game here with the Maple Leafs. This one's popped up into shallow left. And catch made there by Brody Black. It's going to bring Ryan Dos Santos to the plate. Aiden Armitage has had a really good year so far out of the bullpen for the Brantford Red Sox. He's had to pitch a little bit. 5 1/3 innings coming into this one at an ERA of 1.69. And this is kind of the moment that Brantford has been saving Aiden Armitage. They haven't had a lot of close games. In this stretch of 4 games in 4 days, they've lost 13-1, 9-2, and 20-5. So this is the moment here if you have an ace up your sleeve to pull it out. Behind 2-0 here on Ryan Dos Santos, who just missed a home run in his last at-bat.
He's hit the ball hard twice to left field.
Yeah, but Brody Black has been there. This one was, the wind helped out that fly ball that he hit to left field a little bit, but Brody Black reached up with his back literally against the wall, pushed up against the wall, and made the catch. Here's the 2-1. And you know, there's one guy on the Maple Leafs that likes to see hard hit balls the other way more than anybody else on the team. You know who that would be?
I would say Jordan Castaldo.
Yeah, maybe. Well, maybe. But I was thinking Rob Butler, the coach. He loves that approach. The 2-2 is hit on the ground by Dos Santos. This could get Brantford out of the inning. No, it will not. That ball is sailed over the head of the first baseman, Hulk. And Dos Santos will reach on the air.
That's a tough play right there. On the run throw, and you have a speedster going up the line in Dos Santos. See if they chalk that up as a base hit or an error.
Yeah, that was a pretty tough play for Max
So
Schmarger.
I think it might go down as a base hit.
Yeah, Ryan Dos Santos is a guy who can really hustle down the line. Someone a bit slower, maybe wouldn't have to rush that throw so much, but that one was well wide of Tim Polk.
It goes down as a base hit for Dos Santos.
Okay.
And I hinted at this a little bit earlier. Dennis DeBanning, he was getting loose on the bench. He was kind of going through the motions of an at-bat, and he's going to pinch hit here.
So he's going to come in for John Javier. So that makes sense because he'll go out and play center field now instead of Javier.
DeBanning, a guy, tons of power, but it's been the strikeout numbers that have been inflating so far this year.
This is a good spot for Dennis DeBanning. Unfortunately for him, he's got to come in cold off the bench and face a pretty tough pitcher here in Aiden Armitage. But the Maple Leafs need a double or a homer right here, and they've brought the guy off the bench that can do that. The 1-0. DeBanning takes a strike over the outer half. Bit of a delayed call from the home plate umpire.
We saw DeBanning homer in each of the first 2 games of the season.
There's the 1-1. Runner Dos Santos goes, and he's in there at second base with another stolen base on the day.
Yeah, he doubled his stolen base total this season last time. This time, well, he adds a third one. 3 stolen bases on the day for Dos Santos. And he has just been a nuisance on the base paths for the Brantford Red Sox.
Yeah, the pitch was a strike to DeBanning, so maybe this changes the approach a little bit with a runner in scoring position. That runner at second, it looked a little bit different when the score was 7-4 Brantford, now in a tie ball game. Dennis DeBanning just wants to fight one into the outfield. Well, he had to fight that one off. That was right in on his hands.
That's a great pitch, but an even better fight off right there by DeBanning. Saw it come inside and knew he had to protect the inside corner as well, so just fouls it off, muscles it the other way.
Yeah, talked to Dennis DeBanning after opening day where he hit a big home run, and he said he was a little bit disappointed with the way he was attacking fastballs. He felt like he was letting some hittable fastballs by him. That time it was a good pitch over the outside corner. He swings right through it, and that will end the inning for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But in the inning, they do get the big home run from Danmar and tie at 7-7, and we've got a great finish coming down the line here at Christie Pitts. Well, new pitcher into the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's Ayami Sato. And big difference between the two outings we've seen from Ayami Sato. Came out on opening day, had the weight of the world on her shoulders. Everyone was watching. The most people I've ever seen here at Christie Pitts, and was fantastic. 6 up, 6 down. But then the London Majors kind of figured things out. They were able to touch her up for 4 home runs in that outing, but the Maple Leafs battled back. So we'll see what we get from Ayami Sato today, but always so fun to watch. Fastball, curveball, slider is what she features on the mound. Here's the 1-1. This one's hit down the line, foul.
New batter into the game as well here, partner. Just trying to get the update.
Yeah, Renee Takioka is going to come into the game for the Brantford Red Sox. He's had 10 at-bats on the year, now appearing in his 4th game this season. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Nasty curveball from Sato.
And that's how Sato is going to dominate. You got to continue to work that off speed. We talk about it, the RPMs on her curveball. It's so good. It is an elite level that she's able to spin that curveball. You got to keep these hitters off balance. That's the key.
Here's the shortstop, Schmarder. First pitch, popped up. Shallow right. Marcus Connect over and makes the catch. Out number 2.
Again, that looked like another off speed right there.
Back to the top of the order here, and Ethan Paulos comes to the plate, 1 for 2 on the day with a walk. He's also struck out and driven in a run. First pitch from Sato. Just missed outside. Yeah, we talked about it a bit on opening day, but Ayami Sato, the RPMs on that curveball are that of more than an average MLB fastball. So that's how hard she's able to spin that curveball, and that's what's made her one of the best in the world. The 2-0. Line drive right back up the middle. New center fielder Dennis DeBanning will get his first touch on the baseball. And that's a base hit for Paulos.
Paulos has turned his day around. Started the day off with a strikeout looking, then he got the sac fly RBI, and he's proceeded to reach base the next 3 times. He's had a great job at the top of the order.
Here's Ortega now with a runner on first base. Sato throws it back to first to Justin Mara to look back the runner. Ayami Sato admitted by her own admission on Instagram after her last outing was not happy with the way that went and kind of apologized to Toronto Maple Leafs fans, which I thought was a bit harsh, as this pitch is in there, throw down to second base, got him. Ayami Sato fired up as she washes her catcher. Matt Brandt throwed his 2nd runner of the game, and the Maple Leafs get out of the inning. How about that? To the bottom of the 8th we go here at Dominico Field. Well, back here at Christie Pitts, and we were just talking about Ayami Sato. So this is what she said on Instagram after her last inning. She said, it was a rough outing. I left too many balls up in the zone and paid the price. I'm left with a lot of frustration. And the team never gave up. Watching them fight to the very end reminded me next time I'll be the one to lift them.
That's exactly what she did. A great inning. 3 up, 3 down. Or I should, roughly 3 up, 3 down with a great play by Matt Brandt behind the plate. But yeah, that's what you got to do. You look to your battery mate right there to help you out, and that's exactly what Brandt did. But that's the key to success for Sato, is keep these hitters off balance. Don't make them expect that you're getting a curveball the next pitch. If you can mix in your pitch with the fastball and that curveball especially, you have to mix in that curveball, not hang it over. And the elements also didn't help her last game against London. It was a very windy day, and anything in the air really was just soaring over the fence. Granted, London they had great reads on her pitches.
Yeah, they came into that outing with a really good approach. I loved how Ayami Sato, even after she didn't have a great outing, was obviously pretty disappointed about it. It was like a 4-hour game. She was there on the bench cheering on her teammates the entire time in the dugout, even after she gave up the 7 runs. So, I think that's good to see, and you can see how fired up she was too with her new catcher Brandt throwing out the runner at second base. So Colby Klepper is the new pitcher into the game for the Brantford Red Sox, and the first pitch lined foul, or second pitch I should say, from Rando Moreno.
And I don't know if you can notice this, but Klepper, he closes his body off a lot on the mound, and that just kind of helps a pitcher hide the ball more and kind of more tunneling your pitches. It's harder for a batter to pick it up. Somebody that did that beautifully was the guy named Yusei Kikuchi. He hid the ball so well until the very last second.
Yeah, boy, does he ever. Now turns and fires, and Rando Moreno swings over the top of it. Did not get a good read on that breaking ball, and that's out number 1.
Yeah, and it's hard to get a good read on a pitch like that when you're hiding it so long. Klepper just does a very good job of it.
Colby Klepper is one of those few rested arms in the bullpen for the Brantford Red Sox. Last pitched against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, where he gave up a run, although it wasn't earned. He faced 5 batters over an inning and a third. And that was a really heartbreaking loss for Brantford, and is what's kind of started them on this losing streak. It was a 2-1 loss to Chatham-Kent. Now it's Jordan Castaldo. First pitch, way inside. The Brantford Red Sox came into the gates. They had a pretty good start to the season. They lost the first 2 games, but then had a big win over a tough Guelph Royal team. Then they had games that were starting to get rained out. And ever since then, they couldn't really carry the momentum. Now they've lost 4 in a row, and they're 1-6 on the season. So Brantford Red Sox might feel like their schedule to start this season, they might feel a bit hard done by. Yeah, 4 games in 4 days. They've lost 3 of those 4, and man, if they could battle back here against the Maple Leafs, that would be a gutsy effort. Castaldo hammers this ball high and deep to left field, and that is number 100 for Jordan Castaldo in his Intercounty Baseball League career.
And did he ever stop and admire it? Castaldo off the bat knew that was clearing the wall. Soak it in, number 5, career number 100.
Oh, there you go, Jordan Castaldo. 100 home runs, one of the best, maybe the best to ever do it in the Intercounty Baseball League. We saw him become the 4th all-time in RBIs in the RBI leaderboard in the Intercounty Baseball League. He's moving his way up the home run leaderboard as well. Cleveland Brownlee, I think he's 21 home runs ahead of him right now, so he might need to play a little longer to catch that, but that's a great milestone for Jordan Castaldo. 100 in the IBL.
Somebody will get him that baseball.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's 8-7 Maple Leafs, too. They've taken the lead.
And over in the bullpen, you'd think you'd be seeing DR, but no, it's going to be Taylor Lepard warming up.
It's a good option out of the bullpen.
And there's the updated list right there. Castaldo joins the 100 home run career.
Good stuff.
And if you're curious, partner, just down the road, the Toronto Blue Jays just wrapped up their series sweep of the Athletics.
Good, good.
Toronto sports, having a good day.
Here's the 2-0 to Justin Mara. 3-0 on Mara. Klepper trying to get through this bottom of the 8th. His pitch, right down the middle for a strike.
What a gutsy effort it's been for the Leafs here today. Went down early, and you had Brantford just hitting the cover off the baseball in the early innings.
Justin Mara gets into this one, high and deep to left, and gone! Back to back go the Maple Leafs in the bottom of the 8th, and they're ahead by 2.
One man that's going to absolutely love the approach today, like you said, Rob Butler. Everything has gone opposite field so far today. Maple Leafs extend their lead now to 2. Justin Mara goes back to back with one of his veteran teammates. What a big time play for the Maple Leafs.
Well, that's the second home run of the day for Justin Mara. The first one was a bit of a wall scraper. That one had plenty on it to get over the wall there in left field. And the Maple Leafs are starting to open things up just a little bit. They're peering through the crack of a victory here against the Brantford Red Sox in the bottom of the 8th. Now it's Marcus Connect, and you know that reminds me of the years the Maple Leafs went to the Intercounty Baseball League Finals with that part of the lineup, as Marcus Connect misses low. Marcus Connect back-to-back home run would really give memories of that. I'm sure that happened a couple times in exactly that order with Jordan Castaldo, Justin Mara, and Marcus Connect. That's the core of some really good Toronto Maple Leafs teams over the past 5 years. The 1-0 Connect swings and misses. It's not like the Brantford Red Sox bullpen has been bad. They haven't been walking guys. It's just some of these Maple Leafs hitters have found a way to put a good swing on the ball at a very opportune time. The 1-1. Connect hits this one in the air. High, pretty deep to right field, and caught out there in right center. And that's out number 2. Well, Dan Mara got into the long bomb action in his last at-bat. And, I mean, Dan Mara's swing is arguably the biggest swing that we've seen maybe this season for the Maple Leafs to tie the game up 7-7.
It's a big momentum turn in this game for sure. And really, we knew the Leafs had the great chance to just kind of stay in this game, try to come back and win it, but really that swing from Dan Mara just kind of solidified everything, that this team, they're here.
The 1-0. And Mara takes a strike on the inner half. The 1-1 from Klepper. Mara hits this one in the air to center field. He's got into another one, but it's just a little bit short, right in front of the wall there. Ethan Paulos there to make the catch. Another good swing by the Maple Leafs veteran second baseman, Dan Mara. And it's the Maple Leafs who now lead 9-7. And a big home run from Jordan Castaldo, number 100. And then capping it off with a back-to-back shot, Justin Mara. So Taylor Lepard into the game for the Maple Leafs, trying to shut things down here against the Brantford Red Sox. Has an ERA of 4.50 on the season. He's pitched in just 2 games. Both of them have been 2-inning outings, although the London Majors did get to him for a couple of runs in the last time he pitched. But you know what? That was in a 16-15 game, and everyone was getting touched up for everything that game.
And we know Lepard has the stuff. He has an electric arm. The ball really just pops out of his hand so beautifully. That fastball, it sits around the 90 to, 94 range.
Oh, this one's hit in the air pretty well. Center field and gone. 1-run ball game at Dominico Field. That is a big shot from Christian Ortega.
Ortega has gone 5 for 5 at the dish today with 2 home runs. He is having an electrifying day.
Boy, that's a big shot. 3 RBIs now and a 1-run ball game. Nobody out here in the top of the 9th.
And another man that's having a fantastic day, it's Tim Holt.
I guess if you think 2 home runs is good, yeah, it's pretty good.
It's okay.
4 RBIs as well for Hulk. Both home runs to left field. Lepard's pitch, up and away. Blew that one right by the glove of Brant. Here's the 1-0 from Lepard. And this one slashed towards left field, coming over to Dos Santos. He jumps and he caught it! Oh, it went off his glove. He juggled it and then grabbed it on the way down. What a catch.
Ryan Dos Santos, a player known for his fielding, and he stays with it right there. You see he has a big smile on his face as he knows he got a little bit lucky, but he'll tell you that. No, I knew. I had it the whole way. Had it the whole way through.
It's just an incredible play to reach up, have the ball go off your glove, and then find it on the way down. Like, your reflexes have to be so good to make that catch, and it's a game-changing out. Game-changing play made there by Ryan Dos Santos.
Great hand-eye coordination.
This game looks a lot different if there's a runner on second base with nobody out in the top of the 9th, rather than nobody on 1 out, no 1-run lead for the Maple Leafs. 9-8. Lepard trying to get 2 more outs here, facing the catcher, Watt. Cassidy Watt takes low. Watt and Torreson have 8 at-bats combined, just 1 hit on the day. The 1-1 in there for a strike, 1-2. Matt Torreson is the on-deck batter. Here's the 1-2. Swinging a foul straight back to home plate. Watt with a big swing and just got a piece of it.
Obviously, the leadoff home run stings a little bit, makes things a little bit more tense here in the ballpark, but really that out, like you stated, that's a huge out, number 1, especially a guy like Tim Holt.
Here's the 1-2 to Watt. And it's way outside. So, Zach, this has been kind of the story, I think, early on in the season for the Brantford Red Sox. The top 3 batters in the lineup today combined for 8 hits and 8 RBIs. The bottom half of the lineup, no RBIs, 3 hits.
Yeah.
The top 3 hitters, everyone else, just the 1. Throw to first, great play by Rando Moreno. Out number 2.
For a second, I thought Rando Moreno was going to go and barehand that, but he does the little scoop and the little submarine toss over to first, and right on the money, too.
Yeah, a lot of awareness there from Rando Moreno, just to know that he had a little bit of time to throw that ball to first base. And that guy, he's kind of a veteran guy, over 30 years old, playing over there at shortstop, and he knows what he's doing out there for the Maple Leafs. The 0-1 to Torreson. This one's chopped on the ground. Spencer Ross fields it on a big high hop. Throw to first in time to get the out. Taylor Lepard shuts things down in the 9th inning for the Maple Leafs. It's a comeback victory, a gutsy one. They get the big home run from Dan Mara, and then Jordan Castaldo and Justin Mara hit 2 big home runs right after that, and the Maple Leafs come away with a big win today against Brantford.
Yeah, massive win, and really just production all up and down the order. It was a huge day for the Mara brothers. When you look at it, 3 home runs combined between Dan and Justin. A massive day for Jordan Castaldo. He surpasses 100 career home runs, and just what a day it was through and through for the Maple Leafs as a whole.
The Toronto Maple Leafs have now won 3 in a row and are above 500 for the first time this season. They beat the Brantford Red Sox 9-8, couple home runs from Justin Mara, 1 from Dan, and the historic 100th home run in the IBL career of Jordan Castaldo. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you on Friday here at Christie Pitts.